Welcome to the Holyoke Public Schools Media Center and our podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Rosado. We are joined by Jose Lopez and Amor Freeman. Our guest today is Jacob Belanger. He is a teacher and academy lead here at Holyoke High School.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on your podcast today. I'm really excited. It's my first podcast event that I've ever participated in, so I'm really jazzed up to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So, can you give us a little rundown of what the academies are?
Absolutely. We have a new redesigned model of the high schools here in Holyoke. We designed the Holyoke North with 4 theme-based academies. In 9th grade, students are actually choosing the academies in their second semester through an event called the Town Hall. So students come to Town Hall for various reasons, including enrichment activities, academic success review and how to be successful in high school while being a 9th grade student, being new to the high school. We put on these types of academic structures for students to support them through this acclimation period where they're coming to a big school and they're trying to get used to the different structures, policies, routines. So the town hall is kind of like a platform for students to learn about the various aspects of high school. So in the town hall, they're going to be choosing one of the 4 theme-based academies, which at various town halls, they've learned about the academies and done activities related to the themes of each academy. The 4 theme-based academies are medical and life sciences, performing and media arts, community and global studies, and technology, engineering, and design. Each academy is set up with one technical course that the student chooses. This course is a course that is taught through the actual theme of the academy. So, for example, the TED Academy, Technology, Engineering, Design, students are taking Project Lead the Way, which is an engineering course where students engage in curriculum that's focused on building a foundation and an understanding of the engineering process, right? So each academy has this one technical course that the students will be taking. And in addition to that technical course, the English course that you take in 10th, 11th, and 12th is taught through the lens of the academy. So the students in the TED Academy will be writing and reading literature and articles that are through the lens of engineering, right? So there's a connection between the English, the course in the academy, and the technical course in the academy.
So I actually have a question about that. So you said there's 4 academies, and now wouldn't those academies kind of like force students into like picking a specific lane? It's kind of like, I don't know. I think that students should be allowed to kind of like explore who they are, because maybe they don't really know what lane they want to go into. So it's kind of, I don't know how that would work. How would you guys combat that?
I think that's a great question, Giovanni, and that's something that I'm glad that you asked, because I want to clarify that, because that's a concept that the community has in mind in relation to this redesign work that we're doing. So I want to clarify that these academies are really just a design in which students can engage in a theme that is interesting to them, right? And it's really just a single course, a technical course that they'll be taking in each of their sequential years in 10th, 11th, and 12th that is really just diving into that actual theme, while the English course is just the lens. So we're not pigeonholing students into this single track or career. It's actually a great opportunity for students to have some real in-depth experiences. So for instance, in the TED Academy, the students, that every student will have a hands-on experience. In February, on February 5th, every single student in the TED Academy that has their permission slip, because we're still leaving the building, so you still have to, get their permission from parents and guardians. We're sending the kids with their teachers to Pioneer Valley Coral and Natural Science Institute. We'll actually be doing real hands-on research in clean water engineering. So using state-of-the-art processes of electrolysis to clean water and go through the engineering process and how that's done with doctors and scientists that are in the field And this is a real live research lab in Hadley, Massachusetts, that the students will actually be engaging in this hands-on experience. But to that point, Giovanni, in 10th grade, so say this student, and I'm using the TED Academy as an example, but say the student in the TED Academy goes through this course, and right now the course that they're taking is robotics, and they go through these experiences, and the experience that I just spoke to is one of those experiences that they'll be having just next week, in fact, and finds out that engineering is something that they do not enjoy. So they chose the academy, and they found out that this is not for them, which is just as good, in my opinion, to a student that takes the academy and says, I love engineering, right? So at the end of the 10th grade, they can actually choose to elect out of the academy and choose another academy to join, which in that scenario, again, it's just a technical course that they're choosing, that they're electing to take, right? That is specifically through the lens of that academy. And these opportunities are real, authentic experiences for students to experience that theme of the academy, which we're designing with local partners in the community, industry, post-secondary, and local government. So a lot of these partners that we're bringing into the school, they're also allowing students to go out of the school to have these hands-on authentic experiences. And that's what the academy is really about, the authentic learning, and bringing in partners from local community, industry, and post-secondary and local government to help support with this true authentic learning out in the community. So if a student were to hate the TED Academy, they can choose to take a course they can choose to leave that academy and go into another academy following in their 11th grade, and then similarly in their 12th grade. So you can have all these various experiences, and we're defining those experiences now, so students can choose the experience choose the academy based on the experience, or choose the experience based on the academies.
I mean, now that you explain that, it makes a lot more sense now, because they can go ahead and experience something, and then they can say, oh, maybe I don't want to do that. So I guess they're making the decision now instead of like going to college and taking a course and saying, hey, I might want to take this, but then when they do it, it's like, oh, I don't really want to take it. So it makes more sense now that they're doing it earlier on.
That's absolutely correct. And that's actually a big part of the, I think, success of this type of design, right? And you spoke about college, which is another aspect of the academies. Each academy has a pathway called early college. So there are students currently, right now, in 10th grade that are taking a college-level course, getting college credit for that course. In the TED Academy, it's Intro to Robotics. The early college program literally started today with the instructor coming from HCC, the professor, is in the classroom, teaches 3 days a week, while the other 2 days, the student is supported by the high school teacher in the classroom through AVID strategies. AVID is actually the course that's taught in conjunction with the college level course. So students on Monday will have a course that's taught by a professor from HCC. On Tuesday, the students are supported by the teacher with AVID strategies, which are studying and structures that make any student academically successful through these strategies in the classroom. And then Wednesday, the professor will come again, teach the course. Thursday, supported through that course by the teacher through AVID strategies. And then Friday, again, the course. So the students have a real, true, authentic college experience. And that's what it's all about. When you can look at the majority of the high schools in Massachusetts, look at the vision or the mission statement, and it states, we're looking to get our students prepared for college and career readiness. And there's nothing more structured in terms of preparing an individual for college and career than actually having true, authentic college or career experiences.
So do any of you guys have any questions about the academies?
Well, I don't have a question, but I guess I just want to like say that like the way I see the academies is sort of like flexibility for the students, because like if it's college, then you paid for that, and if you don't like what you experienced, then like you already paid for it. But the academies, it kind of offers like an early experiences for the students to kind of find who they are and find what they want to do in life, and then just kind of go with it into college.
And to that point, Jose, students start one of the 4 theme-based academies in 10th grade. So in 9th grade, they choose it. So 9th grade is this entire year where students are getting acclimated to the environment of a large high school, right? So we have, starting next year, we're going to have a freshman seminar, which students, again, are going to be working with teachers on academic behaviors that relate to study habits, relate to class structures and school policies, to support the students in preparing them through the rest of their high school career, right? So this 9th grade experience also includes teacher teaming. So currently we have 3 teams that a set of teachers that are on a team hold the same exact students in their classrooms. So the 100 students that Miss Steele has will be the same in her math class that's spread out through her 5 courses, will be the same 100 students that Miss Bouchard will have within her history class, right? Which they're not the same class going from class to class, but they're all integrated with the same 100 students. So those teachers are able to team up and support those students in 9th grade much stronger. And they have the same common prep time. So they have time set aside that's dedicated to looking at student behaviors, student data in terms of their grades, attendance, and design curriculum together to help support the students in their classrooms. So they share the same students, which is a phenomenal experience in terms of if anyone would tell you in terms of teachers, a PLC like that, professional learning culture, it really kind of bodes well for the students that are involved.
Do you have any questions or concerns?
I just have like a little something to add. So how like this early college type of thing, I could see how this combined with like dual enrollment, how that could really help somebody out when they're just going into college.
Yeah,
like really just gotta give them a boost,
And the students in the early college program will actually, once they're through the entire program, which is a state, it's a state-designed program. The state of Massachusetts started up this program, and Holyoke was one of the early adopters of it. Students are able to graduate with, at a minimum of 12 credits, a full semester, in fact, of college credit as soon as they graduate from high school, right? So if they're successful through those courses, that they're supported by the teachers, the high school teachers in the classroom through these college courses, in which in 10th grade the college professor comes to the school. It's kind of like a scaffolded structure to allow students to truly be successful in college.
And it just makes the transition into college way more easier because you're already ready for it.
Absolutely, Jose.
So let's talk about the sponsors that support the academies. Can you name a few?
So in terms of sponsors, we like to call them partners, and they do sponsor students to come to their site for site visits. In 9th grade, we try to design an awareness of these various partners through an event called the Reverse Job Shadow. We have various partners coming from local community, industry, post-secondary, and local government. They come to the school on this Reverse Job Shadow event. They will rotate through the classrooms, in 9th grade classrooms, to talk to the students and engage the students with not just information about their career and their pathway and training and education to get there, but also engage the students with an activity that's related to their field. All right. So, for instance, we had Dr. Lily Rijik from Pioneer Valley Coral and Natural Science Institute. She brought in some of her scientific instruments that she uses to do state-of-the-art research in water purification systems. Right now, she's designing a water purification system that uses electrolysis to break up chemical compounds in the water so that it's able to be drink. So that you're able to take this chemically polluted water and clean it through using electricity so that you can drink it. which is amazing.
Now, for the academies, I know you have like the technology and then the performing one, right? So how do you keep those up to date? Like, technology is constantly evolving and everything, and then with the performing arts, the digital, like social media and all that, how do you guys kind of incorporate that? Because I know there are traditional ways that you guys have these academies, and then there's like the new upcoming, things that you guys can do.
And that's a really great question, Giovanni, again. And we do rely on the support from our partners to help us identify what is coming up in terms of technology in the various industries that are local and statewide. And just to speak a little bit more about the partnerships with the academies, in ninth grade, we have that like career awareness and activities with students. In 10th grade, we're it's a progression where they're actually getting their hands-on experience in the field that's related to the academy that the students are in. And then in 11th and 12th grade, we are designing internships and job shadows where students are able to independently go out in the field to actually work and shadow alongside all of these professionals from that are partnering up with Holyoke Public Schools. So some of the top, and there are so many that I can't name them all, but some of the top that I'm specifically with the STEM Academies working with is the Holyoke Medical Center, Pioneer Valley Coral Natural Science Institute, Holyoke Gas and Electric, and PDI, Power Development International, which is a company out of Framingham that is developing research on updating hydroelectric dams. So these are just a couple, just to sprinkle in. And if any of our partners hear this, I apologize, but I know we have over 120 partners that are really strong, but those are just a couple that I'm working with just as of recent around student experiences in 10th grade. So in 9th grade, the professionals come into the classroom to engage with the students. In 10th grade, we bring groups of students to have an experience out in the field. And then 11th and 12th, we have individual students going out and job shadowing and internships and co-ops. So that's kind of like the spectrum of the work-based learning experience that students will have within the academies. Now, would you be able to restate state the question that you had prior? Was it about the highlights so far?
Yeah.
So some of the highlights, it would certainly include the town halls, right? So every month, the students in each of the academies would come together as a group to engage in an enrichment activity in which students work on, so for instance, the TED Academy, they would have an engineering challenge, right? So the students would have to build and create a freestanding tower out of straws and tape. And so the largest freestanding tower is straws and tape, and there's a time limit. So it really takes an engineer mindset to identify that the base has to be larger and it has to taper up as you get taller, and then how much tape and how to use the straws as supports for the tower, right? So the students really have a fun time engaging in that type of engineering challenge where they have to like mentally go through the engineering process to perform. So enrichment activities, also celebrating student work. We identify 3 students before every town hall that exhibit the norms essentially of the school. So working hard, being kind, and getting smarter. Those values that you'll see written on boards throughout the school. Those values we give awards to, and we identify students that really exhibit those values. So we celebrate those students that they receive a certificate, and then we also just have a little bit of fun at the town halls. We have some music, and sometimes we have food as well.
So I can see that you guys really incorporate a lot of hands-on activities, but are you guys having like writing-based activities or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. So, in terms of the curriculum for high school, every single student goes through a program of study that the state identifies as the core courses, right? So every single student has to take 3 years of math, has to take 3 years of science, 4 years of English, and 3 years of history. They have to take PE, they have to take language. So this is what's called Mass Core. So every single student, when they go through their high school career, will have all the Mass Core requirements upon graduation, as well as the MCAS is also a graduation requirement, correct? So the students will still have to write their essays in English and in history. They still have to write their reports in science and do their ORQs in math, right? So the academies are really to engage students in ideas and concepts that the students could relate to and engage in, and we still hold to the requirements that the state provides for students in their high school education.
So I know you said that the state of Massachusetts created this whole idea of the academies, and Holyoke was the earlier adopter of this. But what kind of inspired you guys to go ahead and go through these new ventures? Like, weren't you guys kind of comfortable with the new system before? What kind of made you want to take that leap?
Right, so that's a great question. So we wanted to make a positive change, right? And we had this opportunity to make a positive change, and the state awarded us a few grants in order to do research and development on changes that would help build our high school and the experience for the students, right? So with any type of research, you want to identify what's working at other places that relate to our high school, our demographic, right? So we have a large high school. There's about 120 students. So we did a pretty in-depth research around the country and some schools outside of the country that have the same style of school that we have, right? And what are they doing well? And what are they doing not so well? And what can we identify that we might want to incorporate into our school system and our redesign that would benefit the students? So the foundation is what will benefit the students. So we sent a group of teachers. It was the innovation team. I think it was over 35 to 40 teachers all over the country and all over the state and out of the country to research programs that are state of the art, that are running right now with fidelity and proven through data that they're being successful, right? So we identified a number of things. And one thing that popped up everywhere that we went to, any school that was successful, was their work-based learning program, where they had strong partnerships with local community, local industry, post-secondary, and local government, right? So their community around them, it was a real strong foundation to support them in being successful. So that was one of the things we definitely wanted to incorporate, were these experiences for students that brought in the community and experiences where students can go out and work with the community. Another one was just really taking advantage of the support that we got from the state around like the early college program. Having students take these courses, the experience that these students have through this early college program, or like you said, more with the dual enrollment, that's authentic, real college experience. So to really prepare a student, and you really think about it, right? Preparing a students for college and career and community readiness. To be ready for college, you really want to have immerse the student into the college experience as much as possible. To be prepared for a career, it's really, like you said prior, Giovanni, it's to pigeonhole a student into a career just when they're 14 is impossible. But what we want to do is create and afford every student as many opportunities in various careers as possible, so that they can really be informed leaving high school and going into college. So those are really the two biggest. And we brought in groups of partners and talked to them about what do the students need going out into the careers, and what do the students need going into college and universities. Like, what are they lacking right now, and what would you like to see us really focus on to help support the students to be successful entering right? So those were the questions that we sought out support from our partners in local post-secondary partners. So that's like universities, colleges that were in the area. And also the community and industry and local government. We asked them, what are the folks that are applying today? What type of skills are you looking for? And what type of skills is the employment body lacking, right? So what should we focus on as a school to help support our students to be successful in those fields? So those were the questions that we sought out to answer in our research. And then, and right now we're in the implementation through these partnerships. And we're seeing some really high quality results where students are getting real, true, authentic experiences, educational experiences, not just within the classroom, but also outside the classroom.
So are there any last ideas you guys would like to add?
No.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back soon with another podcast.